Hello, today I will explain some services in AWS. As you know, AWS is one of the leading platform in the cloud industry. I am going to explain not all of them, but the one that important for most of us, for machine learning, for developers. Firstly, this is the console for AWS. In this console, since I have used AWS many times, that's why there is a IAM user part, also root user part. I will explain the difference. For this video, I have created AWS free tier account. Now, with the emails that I have created, I am going to log into console. It is my root user. Yes. It is the main console page of the AWS. There is a services that are recently visited services. It is the services that when you visit, it remains here. Now, I will start with IAM user service because since the security is one of the most important part in our life while building the application, we should give some developers the access to create the buckets through their, for example, they use Spring Boot application. They don't need to enter the AWS management console and they create bucket here or upload delete file here. They just need some credentials, and they will not this credential, write this credential in their app, Spring Boot app, or another programming language framework they use, and through that credential, they will upload. They will they will contact with AWS. That's why we should give that credential as a, for example, I manage the job of creating this access in the company. Let's say I will create this access for them. Yes, let's go to IAM console. As you see, there's already one user. Since I have hosted one website in AWS almost 7-8 months ago, that's why I have created one user in that day. Now I will create one user also and one group and assign that user to the newly created group. As this is created 290 days ago. Now I will add new user. Let's say this is some POM user. There is a two type of access: programmatic access and AWS Management Console access. As I say, there is no need for developers mostly to access the AWS Management Consoles. They just need to contact with the services of AWS. Therefore, I will give Hassan, in this specific case, programmatic access. As you see, it is enable access key and secrets key for the AWS API, CLI, SDK, and other development tools. Then I will click the next permission. For creating the user, Amazon says add user to group, copy permission from existing user. For example, I have one user, for example, I have created 5 days ago, and that user have some rules. That user have some predefined permission rules. For example, he can access EC2, he can access SNS, and in this button it says that copy permission, that permission from existing user, attach existing policy. We will add user to group, new group. Therefore, let's hit the button create group. Let's say homeworks 3. There is a main user type. In this specific example, we will need S3 access. Since we are going to upload some file to S3, we will need EC2 access. We can need RDS access. There is also one thing, the permission plus administrator access. If your developers or if you are required from your manager, AWS manager, that I will use most service of the AWS, for example, SNS, ECS, Elastic Beanstalk, and another, and you know that you will use, for example, 30 or 40 of the service in a day, I think you can require administrator access, or it will be difficult to find its hosting and assign, maybe. It depends on strategy. Let's create the group. So, you know, I assigned Hassan to this group. I have another group, as I said, I have hosted website. You can also assign Hassan to this group, but we will use our newly created group. There is also tag. Text just for you to ease your life, let's say like that. Homework. AWS. I just add tag just to show about this tag. It is kind of you can identify, let's say, through this tag. And let's go to last part. It says that for this user Hassan Pommi, homework 3, programmatic access without access key, permission boundary is not set. The new user will receive following tag. Group is that user shown above, this user assigned to this group. It is kind of the last part that show you what you did. For example, you can mistakenly add Hassan to this group and you didn't notice, and when you come to review page, you notice that Hassan is homeworks.pom group. Let's change this, for example. In that case, we did it correctly. Now I am going to create the user. Yes, we successfully create the user. There is options to download the CSV file of the access key and the secret key that is given upon creating once we create this Hassan Pom homeworks 3. Let's access the key and the secret key let's configure this user from the CLI. As you know, the programmer will not access from through the console. That's why let's access this user from the CLI. Can download the CSV as a guarantee when, for example, there's a, if I'm not mistaken, strategy that you can view your secret key once you create it. It is the first and last time. There's some kind of policy, if I am not mistaken. Let's go to terminal. You just need to type the one command, AWS configure. It's kind of to access, to go to AWS mode, some kind of command. Then you need to copy your access key ID, then secret key ID, then you need to write the region. Yes, now you are in the AWS. Let's say we just configure the AWS command. Now, for example, if we write these are the buckets that I have created a long time ago. Now we will create the bucket. Just I showed that we are in AWS mode. Now let's create the bucket in the AWS. Before creating the bucket, let's say what's S3. Maybe we are not familiar. Let's first explain what's S3. S3 is a simple storage service. It is, you can store the objects here, your object here. There's a logic in the S3, the bucket logic. It is kind of, you have one big box, and inside of that big box, for example, let's think AWS as a big box, and inside of big box you can have small buckets, and you put your object inside of small bucket. Why we need buckets? Bucket is great because if there is no bucket logic, you just upload, and you cannot group your, for example, you want to group your files by bucket name. You know that there is the file in this bucket is only about the student, then is only about the graduate student, undergraduate student. That's why bucket is the great. Let's create one bucket through the AWS console. It is easy. You just click the create bucket button. Of course, you need to give bucket name. Let's say that it is our homework 3 S3 bucket. Some name. US East 1, US East. Let's remain. Block all public access. It will, in this mode, you cannot access your S3 bucket since it's block all public access. Let's untick it. For this video, we don't need that security. Bucket versioning. You can version your bucket. It is disabled mode. You can also enable it. Add tag to your bucket. Let's add one tag. It is home. lesson. We are recording this video for POM lesson, DevOps or AWS. Let's put DevOps. Server-side encryption, we don't need that. There is also object lock, works only in versioned packets. Since we version it, it will work, but we don't need that object locked. After creating packet, you can upload files and folder to packet and configure additional packet setting. After creating, you can also block this public access. You can also block the access to specific files in your packet, not for all packet. It's also possible. AWS provide many flexibility in that approach. Let's create the packet. Yes, I must acknowledge that current setting might result in this packet, because since it is not secure, that's why it requires from us to click this button, to acknowledge, to take the responsibility. Let's see, we successfully create the packet POM homework S3 packet. Let's go to inside of it. There no, you know that there is no any folder. Now let's see this packet from the CLI mode. AWS S3 LS. You saw. You can also write a command like that. S3. Go to specific POM packet. There is no any, since there is no any information in file, let's see. Now I will upload file, copy one of the file. Absolute referencing to one the file. Yes, I must specify the file that I want to download, upload. Sorry, I'm going to upload it to this packet. Upload to. It says that the file in your desktop, this image, it is image uploaded to this bucket. Now you can run the command that we previously ran, but you can see the packet. You can also see this packet through the CLI. It is the object URL. Access denied. We should permission. In the permission part, we should give the access. I understand. We gave the access. I uploaded this image. In the permission part, what was the problem? Let's explain that. In the permission part, you saw that it was not clicked everyone public access. It is the object owner access through this URI. but I enable it for everyone, public access. For example, in your computer, for example, in developers, you can also access. Now, yes, you can also create buckets through the CLI. There is also one command to create buckets through the CLI. The API, if I'm not mistaken, create bucket, create bucket. Let's put the name for this bucket. POM homework 3 CLI bucket. Let's say like that. We should also specify the region. Once you remember, when we created, there's a region for that bucket. I said that let's not click, remain as it is. Now this bucket is created. Let's see in the console that's really created or not. AWS S3. You saw that there is a bucket homeworks 3 CLI bucket. Now let's upload the one file to this bucket also from the CLI. You can see that it is empty. You can again see that there is a file. Let's apply the previous written command. Once we upload the file to another bucket, it is easy. I will again use absolute referencing to my desktop. Let's now apply another photo of Tom Jerry. Yes, we're right. Now let's specify the bucket that we want to upload. Let's specify the newly created POM homeworks 3 CLI bucket. Now it is uploading. It is uploaded. Now let's see that really it is uploaded or not. S3 POM homework 3 CLI bucket. Yes, as you see, it is uploaded. As a verification, we can also access from console. CLI bucket. Yes, it is. It is also most probably will be denied. We again need to give the permission. I understand the effects of it. Yes, it is. Yes. What we have done till now, we have created the programmatic access. We saw that what's IAM user console identity access in the AWS. Then we saw that what is S3, simple storage service in the AWS. How can we create buckets through CLI? How can we create buckets through the console? How can we upload file through AWS CLI? You can also very easily upload file from console. For me, it is so easy. You can add files from your, for example, and you can upload. What I mean, we can also we could also upload from here, but upload succeeded. Yes. Now let's create the EC2 server in the AWS. EC2 is one of the most important server in the AWS. It gives us a virtual server in the cloud. You can also get your physical dedicated host in the AWS. There's my instance running. This is my website that I hosted on the EC2, specifically Elastic Beanstalk. And that was platform as a service. I didn't configure any hardware things there, but now you can see my CV application. Now we will create the EC2. We will host the EC2 in the AWS. The first thing we need to do, we choose EC2 in the search button. Then we came this window. Then let's launch the instance. For the purpose of this video, I will I will use the free tier included service, specifically Ubuntu service, but there is a main server in the AWS. You can use it for different purposes: deep learning, machine learning, or image processing, etc. You should first know in which use cases you will use your EC2. Then you should create. After select the EC2, as you see, T2.micro. This is the default free tier enabled versions that comes when we select. That's why I will use this. This is the instance family. It is the generation of that instance family. This is the size micro that is specific to for this instance family. We will use T2. Then next, let's configure the instance. Go one by one. Yes, we want number of one instance we want. You can configure your subnet network things VPC. Let's say VPC virtual cloud in AWS. There is a server called VPC. You can define on all your network logic here. There's advanced details you can configure. You can write your script here. That, for example, you want to install a PHP server. You can write your script here. When you launch, it will install what you wrote as a script. Then add storage. What we have is enough for the purpose of this video. Just as introduction, there's a size zip. You can the name of the device, snapshot, SSD, the volume type, and the encryption, not encrypted. Then you can add tag to your EC2. Let's say let's add tag homework 3 production production homework. I just added to for demonstration purpose. Production AWS homework. Security group is one of the most important, I will say, thing in AWS. Now it allows us to access from SSH TCP. The connection comes from SSH in any port will be accepted. In any, let's say, network and subnet will be accepted. Now, for the purpose of this assignment, which is how to say assigned, I should add HTTP 8, and I should also add custom TCP 8080. Yes, 3 port. I added this. The connections that comes through this protocol in this IP range, it includes all IPs. There is no range. Yes, it will be accepted. Now let's review. It is a review part what we have configured so far in this 6th step. Yes, let's launch. Yes, create new key pair. While we access through AWS, while we access the AWS through the terminal, I will need this key pair for SSH. Now let's add this SSH homework 3 prod download key pair. I launch the instance. Now my instance is launching. View the launch log. View the instance. Now it will launch. Now our instance is running and up. It is the running state status check. Now in the step of the status check, let's give the name for our instance. Let's call it as what we call till now production work 3. Save. Yes, I have saved. Now let's go to the instance. It is running as you show. It is a virtual private cloud. Actually, we don't need this. What we need to do in order to access this is we will go to connect. Our username is Ubuntu. Actually, we will need this command, exactly this command, in order to connect to EC2 through the AWS console. But firstly, we need to give them super mode to our file if it's necessary to. It's not publicly viewable now. And I will access my instance. Firstly, let's give them mode. Yes. Let's access our instance. Yes.
Now it says that welcome to Ubuntu. We are now in the EC2 server. You can see it from here. Welcome to Ubuntu. It shows some information about the memory that used or something related to memory. Now let's it says that to run command as a administrator user root, use sudo command. We will use sudo command, if I'm not mistaken, sudo apt for Linux. Install for Linux. It was Apache 2, if I am not mistaken. Let's. Do you want to continue? Yes. It installed the Apache web server, HTTP web server on our Linux machine. You can see from here. Now we can actually install sudo install sudo apt. We can install vim, because I will create my own index.html page here. That's why I installed the vim. The vim is already in the newest version. It is already in sudo vim /var /html. There's a file like HTML. Yes, it is already in here. I will create one. Let's do like that. Homeworkstraight.html. Let's write some HTML code. Oh, sorry. Let's sorry. Create some problem. Sorry, I have a problem with my keyboard. That's why. Let's write some HTML tag. Let's write body tag. Close. Let's give some HTML semantic tag. AWS demo session. Yes, let's save. Yes. Yes, okay. Now we have created HTML3.html in our web server. Let's go to our instance. Let's copy the address. Yes, it is default HTML. Homeworkstraight.html. AWS demo session. It is what we have created just now as a AWS S3 HTML homeworks HTML file, and we added this file in our web server. We can think of it as like in the Spring Boot application in Java EE, for example. In Tomcat, we put our application under web app. Now let's think that it is the web app. What we put under it is our application, let's say GSP file, and we should access it with its name. Yes, it was, I think, about the EC2. We can also we accessed it from HTTP, and as we configured the security group for this. Yes, now lastly, I will talk about RDS server in the AWS. Now let's start the RDS server. Let's clear our terminal. Yes, we are on server. And now let's search relation database service. What's RDS? RDS gives us a many relational many services in NoSQL, SQL databases. For this video, I will create relational database. As you see, I didn't have any DB instance. I never created. It's the first time I will create it. Easy create is how to say, is somehow auto configured. We will create ourselves. Standard create MySQL. We will use this version, retire. Database identifier. Database. Let's keep it as it is. Admin as a user. Password. Let's give the password. DB instance micro for this video and for retire eligible SSD. It is 20 GB allowed. Enable storage auto scaling. If it is not enough, it will automatically auto scale. For purpose of this video, it is not needed. It is VPC, virtual private cloud. Public access. No public access. Actually, we will not need. We will access it through terminal. Developer access it through their application. Choose the existing security group. Default. Password encryption. Additional configuration. Initial database name. Let's give the database name for our database. Homeworks3 prod. Let's keep it like that. Production database. It's the version group, optional group. It is for the backup. No preference. No, I don't want log. There's also version like enable deletion protection. You cannot delete database when you enable. Since we don't need this thing for this video, because we don't want it not to be deleted. Not to be deleted, how to say, easily, accidentally. We can also put it selected, but I will not need it. Okay, you are responsible for ensuring that you have all necessary rights. Yes, let's create. Now it will take a time for creation of database. Now let's continue. Our instance is available now. We will connect our instance to our EC2. Yes, you see the status is available. Database identifier name. We will need this endpoint. Firstly, let's let's install MySQL web server. Sudo apt install SQL server. Yes. Installed. Now let's connect to our MySQL server. MySQL it was admin, if I'm not mistaken. The username of give the parole. Now we'll give this endpoint to now it will not give us the access. There's a reason. Because we didn't configure any security group in our database security group. We will add the security group in our instance. Then we will have access. It is MySQL database. It was POM. Yes. Let's add save rules. Inbound security group is modified successfully. Let's run the previous command again. Let's access. It seems that we added a wrong security group. We will note the security group that that's exactly the same with EC2 security group. I'm not mistaken. It is that I modified. It's yes. Super duper. It is connected. We connected to MySQL database. No, it's just it MySQL command. Let's use production. We can also create our own database here. It's like database change. Let's run the command show tables
There's no table. Let's create table worker worker ID. Let's put the constraint. Let's worker first name. Let's simple first name Bartar. Last name Bartar. Sorted. Create table. Let's end our operation. Let's show the tables. Let's insert some data. Insert into worker. Insert into worker. Values. Hassan. Let's select from worker. Yes. We have finished the SQL operation in our database. In this step, we have created database. We connect our database through our EC2 instance. We create the table here with we populated data to our table. Firstly, we created EC2 instance. We access our EC2 instance with the help of some credentials. These credentials. Yes, that's all from me for AWS video for this homework. Thank you.